Act 2, Scene 3. Month 6. In a restaurant. Afternoon. Kelly is sitting at a small table, fidgeting with her napkin, glancing at times toward the entryway, worry in her eyes. At last, Chris arrives, walking briskly, carrying a colorful gift bag. "Hi, Kel," Chris says in a breezy voice as she slips into the seat across from her friend. "Sorry I'm late." "It's okay," says Kelly. "I was just worried you were dead on the road somewhere. You're never late." "Happy birthday, Kelly," Chris says, handing her the gift bag. "Ooh, thank you. Can I open it now?" Kelly says, but then she catches sight of the approaching waitress and murmurs, "Or maybe we'd better order first." "Good afternoon, ladies," says the waitress. She starts to hand the menus, but Chris waves them away, saying, "No lunch today. We're here to celebrate. What's your most special, decadent dessert?" "Triple chocolate cherry fudge cake," the waitress says. "Gluten-free and sweetened with stevia?" Chris asks. "Of course," says the waitress with a smile. "Sounds lovely," says Kelly. "I'll have that." "One check, please," Chris tells the waitress. "It's Kelly's birthday. She's paying." "Just kidding. I'll have the same. It sounds fabulous." "Would you care for something to drink?" asks the waitress, her pen poised to write on her order pad. "Chrysanthemum tea, please," Kelly says. "Same," says Chris. "Very good," says the waitress, tucking her order pad into her apron pocket. "I'll be back shortly." Chris watches her go, then remarks offhandedly, "I don't believe it." "What?" Kelly asks. Chris says, "When she comes back, she'll probably be just as tall as she is now." "What?" Kelly is mystified. "She'll probably be just as tall," Chris repeats, unfolding her napkin and smoothing it on her lap. Seeing Kelly's puzzled look, she says a little more slowly, "Be back shortly?" It takes Kelly a second, but then her eyes widen in surprise. "A quip? You made a quip? Christine, what's gotten into you? You're late, you're joking. I haven't seen you this giddy since junior high." "I do sort of feel junior high," Chris admits. Kelly leans in. "The kids, you're onto something." "No," Chris says with a faraway look. "But I feel that I could almost, I don't know, it just doesn't seem as impossible anymore. I no longer feel I have to do it alone." Kelly leans further in. "Tell me." Chris points at the gift bag. "Open your present first." "Oh yeah," Kelly says, reaching for the bag. "I forgot." As she opens the gift, the waitress returns and quietly sets 2 cups of tea on the table. A light fragrance of flowers rises in the steam. Chris picks up her cup and breathes in the delicate scent, then takes a sip, watching intently over the rim as her friend fishes through the tissue paper, lifting out a small object protected in layers of bubble wrap. Carefully, Kelly unwraps it and holds it up, trying to figure out what it is. It looks like a hard, dry wad of paper towel mounted on a dark wooden stand. At first, she's at a loss what to say. Then she forces all the enthusiasm she can muster. "Wow, it's a rock with a little stand, a cute little stand." "It's a suiseki," Chris says. "A what?" "A suiseki," Chris says again. "It's a Japanese thing." "Oh, it's a Japanese rock," Kelly says, as if that explains everything. "No, it's from right around here." "A local rock with a Japanese name?" Kelly says, adjusting to the new information. "Well, to be accurate, it's not actually a suiseki." Confused, Kelly says, "It's not?" "No," Chris says. She pauses for a moment, then, looking intently at her friend, she swiftly begins to explain. Suiseki is a Japanese adaptation of a Chinese concept, although some Japanese would dispute that statement. Anyway, the Chinese were pioneers, shall we say, in the art of finding rocks that looked as unreal as possible. Unreal? Kelly echoes faintly. Gnarled, twisted, bizarre. Chris takes a breath, then continues with didactic vigor. On the other hand, Koreans seem to be able to appreciate a rock simply because of its grace. They like red, especially. But the Japanese prefer dark colors because they imply distance, while the Chinese favor yellow, red, and cream. Kelly sits back in her chair, her eyes beginning to glaze over. Chris pauses briefly and asks, "Are you with me?" Kelly is not, but Chris continues, oblivious, enthusiasm unabated. Good. Now, the Japanese want their forms to be quite literal. Mountains in the distance, mountains up close. Waters, plateau stones that have steps to it. The more steps, the better, as long as they're going in the right direction. And plants, animals, people, or buildings, mostly thatched huts, of course, because it would be extremely difficult to find a rock that looks like a pagoda. She chuckles. They even have a class of no class. They call it biseki. Isn't it a riot? Oh yeah, Kelly says dryly. Beryl laughs. Enveloped in her own delight, Chris rushes on. Actually, technically, this is not a suiseki rock. It's more in the Chinese style, although it does appear to me to be a bit like a waterfall or a cloud. What do you think? Do you see it there? Kelly examines the rock, turning it awkwardly. Oh, yeah, I can sort of see that. This part where it kind of flows down? Wow, you really know a lot about this. I had no idea you knew so much about rocks. I thought I knew all about you. You're just full of surprises. I do feel different, Chris admits. I even surprise myself. I've always been so predictable, so boring, so normal. You've never been normal, Chris. I suppose not, but predictable. Yes, predictable. And boring. Never boring, Kelly says. So, how do you know so much about rocks? Oh, you know me, Chris says nonchalantly. When I get interested in something, I just dive in. Kelly is still trying to connect with her friend, sensing something isn't quite right. Carefully, she asks, "So, where did you get it?" "I found it. Nearby. You'll never guess where. Where do you think? Guess." The river? I don't have a clue." Chris leans forward and lowers her voice, as if she's about to reveal the location of some hidden treasure. Looking keenly into Kelly's eyes, she confides, "You know the turnoff on West Highway? Right before it angles out to the beach?" "Uh-huh." "There," Chris says, her eyes bright. "Right there, huh?" says Kelly, sounding as interested as she can. Chris becomes increasingly animated, voice rising, eyes alight. "I know! You go by there hundreds of times and never stop to look. And even if you do look, you might not see anything. It takes a practiced eye. You have to know what to look for. When I first started out, I didn't see anything. But then someone showed me how to look, and I still didn't see anything. But I kept trying, and suddenly, bam! She smacks the table. Kelly jumps. I saw it. Then everywhere I looked, I saw them. It was one of the most exciting moments of my life. Right there, right at the curve off the highway. It's limestone, residue of a thermal spring, I think." "Wow, I had no idea," Kelly says. "And this cute little stand, it's just the right size." Chris beams. "That's because I made it." "You made it? I didn't know you knew how to do that." "Well, you know me. When I get interested in something, you just dive in," Kelly finishes her sentence. Chris takes the gift from Kelly's hand, turning it admiringly. "That's right. I just love the way it fits so perfectly. Some things are meant to be together." You can tell. They just fit. Think of all the years that little rock was in that bank of limestone, quietly waiting for the moment when it would be united with this darling sculpted stand. Together, perfectly suited to each other. The stand, elevating and honoring the rock ennobling and giving meaning to the stand. Kelly eyes her friend. Am I missing something here? Why do you say that? Chris asks, gazing at the rock. I don't know. Are you sure you're talking about rocks? Of course, Chris murmurs, still lost in her reverie. See? In that ancient limestone, I found this graceful, cascading waterfall. Or cloud, or whatever. Isn't it cool? Cool, says Kelly with increasing alarm. What? Says Chris, not looking away from the rock. Kelly leans forward, waving a hand in front of Chris's face. Who are you? What have you done with my friend? Cool? Christine, hello in there. Chris suddenly stiffens. You don't like your present. No, it's fine. No, I can tell, says Chris, offended. I'm sorry. I was excited about the concept, and I thought you, of all people, would understand. Look, Kelly says, concern in her eyes. I haven't heard from you in weeks. You don't return my phone calls, or if you do, it's, I only have a minute, what do you want? So I told myself you must be really busy. But you're always really busy. Then you invited me for birthday lunch, but then you were late. I apologized for that. Kelly waves the words away. It's not about that. I don't care if you're late. It's just, it isn't like you, Chris. You're using words like cool. You haven't used monosyllabic words in years, much less slang. And now you're seeing waterfalls in rocks? Are you okay? I'm fine, Chris says coolly. It's not like you flipped out from all the pressure and money problems and hours and worry. I'm fine, Chris repeats, irritated. The waitress returns with 2 generous slices of the decadent dessert. Triple chocolate cherry fudge cake, she announces. Happy birthday, ma'am. Wow, Kelly says. It's so beautiful, I almost hate to eat it, but I will. I know, it's so good, the waitress agrees. Okay, enjoy. Kelly spreads her napkin on her lap and takes a bite of cake. Mine's delicious, she says. How's yours? Fine, Chris mutters. She stares sullenly at her plate, stabbing the cake viciously with her fork. Kelly watches her, disturbed. In all their years together, she has never felt so alienated from her friend. She sips some tea, then asks lightly, So, when did you get into rock art? Not long ago, Chris says evasively. I've never even heard of Suiseki, Kelly says, trying to engage her friend in conversation. How did you find out about it? Chris hesitates. Gary told me. Gary? Kelly says, teasingly. Who's Gary? You know, says Chris, avoiding Kelly's eyes. The guy who's, helping fund my kids. Oh, that Gary. He took you rock hunting. Just the 2 of you? Why are you looking at me like that? Chris asks. You told me I needed to get out more. I've been working on my tan. Chris, he's married. What does that have to do with it? Try red flags, sirens, flashing red lights, danger, danger? Why? I'm well over 18. I think I can handle it. Christine, you're not, I mean really, you're not having No, of course not. Gary and I are just friends. He's helping me, that's all. Alarmed, Kelly says, What's he helping you with? My project, my attitude, my life. He's just helping me. Kelly looks keenly at her friend. So you have a crush on this guy? Maybe I do, Chris admits. Chris! Oh, Kelly, I haven't felt this way in years. Maybe never. I don't feel alone anymore. I have hope, energy, even happiness sometimes. I never had support in my work. You know that. I've had to fight for everything, every procedure, every nickel. I've even had to fight my own fears and doubts. It's such a relief to have someone else to share it with me, to take care of things for a while. The money is there, and more than the money. He actually cares about what I do. He cares about the kids. He even overrode his board. He believes what I'm doing is important. Can you blame me for being relieved? Grateful? Even a little smitten? No, Kelly says, but I'm your best friend, and I love you. You're on dangerous ground, Chris. People could get hurt, you especially. Please, Chris, this is not junior high. I know, Kelly. I know what's right. I know what's best. I even know what's legal, ethical, and moral. But sometimes, now, after all these years and all I've been through, I don't care. I just don't care. Thanks for your concern, but I can take care of myself. Look, I'm fine, okay? She raises her teacup. Happy birthday, Kel. Thanks, Kelly says softly. They sit in awkward silence. Kelly tries to eat. Chris never takes a bite. Abruptly, she stands up and puts some money on the table. I have to get back to the hospital, Chris says, giving Kelly a quick hug. Without looking back, she hurries away. Kelly sits quietly, staring after her. Bye, she whispers. Sadly, she rises and sings her worries to the empty air.
There you go, throwing your life away. I have no words to say that you will hear. There you are, chasing a falling star. You cannot wander far without losing your way. Bird flying, skydiving far from your nest. What makes you think this is how you'll find rest? Where is the comfort of where you belong? Desert winds scorch you when you think you're strong. You're flying high into clouds that entice, twisting tornadoes of fire and ice. How can you be safe? Bird, flying where you should not go. Remember that I love you so, and I will wait till you come home.